Kia ora whānau. So every great designer, creative and innovator has been misunderstood at some point in their lives, right? Or even founder, myself included, by their clients, by the industry, or even sometimes by their own family and by themselves. Misunderstood is a podcast about the stories behind the creatives and innovators, the struggles, the breakthroughs, and the moments of doubt, and the resilience that has turned it all around. Super excited to have the bro Matt Whyte here to join us, the founder of Mindfull Spaces, right? He's the founder of Mindfull Spaces, an Aotearoa-based company dedicated to designing inclusive, sensory supportive furniture that enhances learning environments for all students. One of the biggest things I think when we first chatted, Matt, I remember I was pitching you this idea of cleanstone, and the first thing I remember what you said to me was like, you asked me about colors because you were empathizing with the neural behavior of young people, and it's so cool, bro. In the last couple of years, seeing you, like span this out into a company doing just that. You try, yeah. So yeah, bro, it's cool to see founders doing something that they care about, that they value, and and they're making it happen, bro. So it's so cool. But so Matt, recognizing the diverse needs of our tamariki, especially those who are neurodivergent or experience sensory processing challenges, Matt collaborates closely with educators and neurodevelopment experts to create spaces and products that promote comfort, focus, and well-being. Since launching Mindfull Spaces, he has been embraced by over 100 schools across Aotearoa and Australia within the first year. I hope that's right. And reflecting a widespread commitment to student-centered design. Their innovation approach has been recognized with prestigious awards, including the Gold Pin, the Supreme Purple Pin for Social Good. I know because I was there. At the New Zealand Best Design Awards. And Matt's work continues to influence the future of educational spaces, ensuring they're adaptable and supportive to every learner. So kia ora, bro. It's good to have you, man.
Yeah, good to be here.
Bro.
Hell of an intro.
Yeah. Oh, bro, we do our research, eh? I love to go back. Like, where do you whakapapa to, bro? Where is your whānau from? Like, take me back into your early life, yeah. And what?
Hawke's Bay's home. Grew up there, and then went away for uni, and then went all around the world. From Hawke's Bay to Dunedin to China to Aussie to Auckland, and then back to Hawke's Bay last year. So wow, it's been a journey.
What were you like, bro, as a kid?
Tall, skinny, quiet. I'm pretty curious, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your upbringing like, bro? Like, I suppose. I know a little bit about your whānau and the awesome companies that that like you must have grown up with, bro? Like, was entrepreneurship has always been kind of I guess like a pathway that you've seen as a young person?
It was probably the only pathway I saw, to be honest. Like when I was, I think, 5 years old, I was going to work with my grandfather on Saturdays, and he'd pay me $2 a day for my time. I'd just go and steal all the stationery. But yeah, grandfather, and then my old man. It's been in the furniture game for 30 odd years, so certainly grew up around entrepreneurs, which I guess when you're in that's sort of the only path you see, for better or worse. Yeah,
wow. Did you have to like make furniture on the weekends, bro? Or did you have to like fill stuff or sweep the floors? Or
I'm not that handy, but there was certainly school holiday jobs. Like school holidays, uni holidays. We're always in the factory, probably breaking more stuff than what we were making. But made a lot of desks, made a lot of chairs in my time.
Wow. Yeah. I remember my family. Like I study architecture, and I remember feeling like when I went into architecture school, I was just like, man, I wish like if I grew up with a little bit of design or architecture around it, what must it have done for my level of confidence, into what I thought was possible and stuff. So I remember going to architecture school and then seeing that and feeling that sense of, oh man, would have been so cool, you know. My parents were designers themselves as well, to help sort of carve that pathway for us. But yeah, it's awesome, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It probably puts a little bit of pressure on, because there's the everywhere you look, you're like, shit, if they can do it, then I've got to do it.
Oh, wow.
But then the flip side is you've seen what good looks like, so you've got a good path to follow.
Yeah. Did your grandparents and did your dad ever were they like encouraging you? Had they always been like, Matt, you know, here's the mantle, I want to pass it down? Or they more like, Matt, what do you want to do, Matt? You know, and how do I help you to get there? Yeah.
Certainly the latter. Like, there's very much this is your life, you know, do what you want to do. There's no pressure to get into any business, but we just want you to really follow your dreams and go and forge your own path, I guess. So I was very lucky to have a very supportive and very encouraging upbringing.
Yeah. Say, bro, you were what is an age where you've got a bit more self-awareness? Maybe like early teens, sort of. Did you know what you wanted to do as a child?
Well, I wanted to be an NBA player.
Me too, bro.
I was pretty set on that until until I was 17, I guess, and then I went to the States and went to a basketball camp and realised that I was not that good.
Well, hang on a minute, bro. So you play basketball throughout high school,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And so how did you get into an NBA, like a American basketball camp? And what was that experience like?
I just went. It was a Philadelphia 76ers summer camp.
Oh, sure.
And so I flew to Philadelphia on my own when I was 16 and just went to this camp for 2 weeks, and like, it was a rude awakening. I was in these dormitories with all these inner city American kids who were just freaks athletically.
Wow.
And I was relatively tall. I'm 6'5". Yeah. But I was getting dunked on by like these 6'1" kids and stuff, and I was like, okay, I don't think this is my future. How good were you at school, at high school? Like, I thought I was pretty good, but I was in a small pond. I grew up with the NBA, bro. Yeah. I grew up with N1. I've always enjoyed N1 more than the fundamentals, bro. So I played some basketball sort of as a kid, but I was probably more about doing tricks as about doing the fundamentals and winning the game. So I regretted that, bro. But certainly have always wanted to go into the NBA as well. I used to watch Cribs and stuff. I was like,
are you still following? Are you following the playoffs at the moment?
A little bit. I actually went to 2 games in November last year. But I think, like, you know, business, family, time is of the essence now. So
it is.
I've still got a passing interest, but I don't sit up and watch games all day every day like I used to.
Yeah. Cool, bro. Yeah. I was a bit gutted that LeBron got swept, but likewise. It's time for the next generation to step up.
Ants is too good. So. Pass the torch.
I'm really torn between Golden State and Rockets because I want Steven Adams to
go the Rockets.
to get a championship.
I went and watched the Rockets in November.
Did you? Yeah.
At Toyota Center, and they're a cool team.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Bro, they were I don't know, in the playoffs, they were just like, they're freakishly on form. Like it was just the team like naturally moved and intuitively knew when to put 3 on one person, and then as soon as that person has an inkling of being free, they will all just move back away and remain into their zones. And so they suffocated Steph Curry. So Game 7 will be really interesting. So
no, I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, we digress, but
we do.
I mean, this is we could just talk about NBA for the rest of the podcast. You know, like when you realized that your NBA dreams didn't quite work out, like, you know, what was next, bro? What came for you?
I didn't really know, so I went to Otago Uni and enrolled in a business degree and I guess lived the uni life for a few years, and then I remember just before I graduated, my dad called me and he had a big furniture dealer from Shanghai staying with them in Hawke's Bay. Yeah. and the guy was American but lived in Shanghai. He said to my dad, if your son wants to come and do a 6-month internship in Shanghai with us, then he's kind of got an internship lined up.
Oh wow.
So I got on a plane and flew to Shanghai thinking that I had an internship lined up, and it never happened. So I found myself in Shanghai and enrolled in a Chinese language course, and ended up staying there for 5 years. So just fell in love with the country and the people and food and all that good stuff.
Bro, you just skipped 5 years of details that I love to get into. So how old were you when you
21.
You were 21.
Yeah.
You bought a one-way ticket to China, thinking you were going to get an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. I mean, what did you feel like?
Well, I was pretty fortunate because the 2011 Rugby World Cup was on at the time.
Okay.
And so there was this Irish pub that all the Kiwis went to. They set up a big grandstand. All the Kiwis went to watch the AVs games, and over a few beers each week, I met some people, and a Kiwi guy by the name of Howard Moore offered me an internship. He was trying to build a company using New Zealand farming methods in China.
Wow.
So I ended up working for him for 3 years.
Far out.
So that was kind of an off-ramp from the furniture world into the dairy world.
And what was that experience, like for you, bro? To find a fellow sort of Kiwi founder in a foreign country, right, at the time. What was that like for you, bro? Like to navigate, what did you learn? What were some of the biggest maybe challenges you had to go through during that time period?
Well, I guess looking back, you're pretty green, right? Your first job out of uni. So I guess you learn a lot of that 101, like business 101 at uni doesn't teach you that much about the real world. But you go and work in a real business, and you got to learn, how to actually do a presentation that means something, and how to do financials, but it's real. It's not. It's on a page, and then I guess for me, learning all that stuff in China rather than here. There's the added cultural piece to it, so you learn a lot about meetings in China, you learn a lot about the customs, the language, the gifts, the cigarettes, the baijiu, all that stuff that probably at the time you don't appreciate, but coming back and then now going back to China to do business, I think holds you in good stead. So yeah, I'd say a lot of soft skills, more than hard skills. But I guess the other thing is that whole curiosity thing that I talked about earlier. There's, I think to go and do something, to move to a country you've never been to, that doesn't speak your language. There's got to be a level of curiosity around how the world works and how people from different cultures function. So I think being somebody that still travels a lot for work around different cultures, I've learned a lot from that first job. Yeah.
What has been some, like maybe one skill that you sort of fall back on from those earlier years, bro, as a early 20-year-old, immersing yourself in a new culture? What's one particular skill would you say from that time period that you've kind of heavily leaned on even today?
I think there's a big thing around confidence. So, like when you're not good at a language, or for me, I was always really nervous to acknowledge that I could understand things because I didn't want that sort of pressure. But I think now being older, I realise that making mistakes is a really good thing. And for me, learning Chinese was full of mistakes, right? Because everything you try, you're going to say wrong. And so that whole being comfortable with making mistakes, and then also that people are really happy to help, because people, Chinese people, when you're trying to speak something, they'll give you time and help you try and get there. So I guess that realization that the world is a supportive place, and people were generally pretty happy to help.
Yeah, beautiful, bro. So you've done 3 years of apprenticeship with this guy. What happened next? Because you ended up spending 10 years in China, right?
5 years in China.
5 years in China.
Then I went to Beijing, enrolled in a Chinese language course full time at a uni for a year.
What led you to do that, or want to do that?
I got a scholarship, so it was free.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to stay in China. I had a lot of affection for China.
Yeah. What was it about the country, bro, that that grew those affection for you, bro? You meant the people, the culture, the food, but was there a particular experiences that has really landed for you?
I think a combination. Like I remember sitting around a table, and the way the Chinese eat is, the circular table with the lazy Susan in the middle, all the food's in the middle, and there's just food comes out until everybody's stuffed and it's still coming out. But I remember sitting around those tables, and when I could get to a point where I could take part in the conversation in Chinese, I was like, this is the coolest thing we've done, because I got a window into whole other culture.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't really about it was all about the people, I guess.
Yeah.
And just that, if you get a window into another culture, it kind of opens your world as well.
And language is such a powerful key to that, bro? Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately I've lost a lot of it. But
I wonder if you know more than me though, still as well. Like
because you got a bit of Chinese blood in you, don't you?
I can speak enough to come off as I'm a local. I can speak enough, but as soon as people ask me what I think or how I feel, I just can't do it. I don't have the words for it, and I really wish I kept it up as a
Likewise.
kid. But it's a hard language. I can't read or write it. Sean can hook us up.
Yeah. Give us a hand.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible, bro. So you did 5 years in China.
Yeah.
You enrolled in the language. Like in those 2 years, when you enrolled, to learn the language. What else were you doing, bro? Was you like how did you put food on the table?
I was working for another New Zealand company called Agribusiness New Zealand.
Interesting.
And so we were mainly import-export of New Zealand products into China.
Interesting. Yeah.
And so we were a three-man team, two of them being in Wellington and me in China. So I was kind of the man on the ground. I would go to meetings and I guess do a lot of relationship stuff with them.
Yeah.
And then, did that. I studied full-time, worked part-time for a good year, and then came home end of 2015. So.
Wow. And what brought you home in the end?
I thought I had another job in China, and then it fell through. So I had already resigned from my from Agribusiness New Zealand, and ended up jobless, which means I lost my visa and came home for summer. Yeah. And then I thought, shit, New Zealand's pretty good. How can I build a world where I can spend time in New Zealand and China? So I started a tourism venture, an ill-fated one. Yeah. But because I'd brought some Chinese friends out here just for them on holiday. And they were like, shit, if you could do this with other people, because we would go camping and just do like stuff you do with mates, right? Go and cook over a fire and go to a beach and have a few beers and like just watch sunset and get on the boat. And I was just like, if you could do this with other people, they'd pay you a lot of money. And I was like, bing, idea. Wow. So started that, and then.
Okay, so but bro, we gotta dig into this, bro. So how did you get customers? How did you advertise? And how did you make it work?
Yeah, well, I didn't really. I guess I just got on the group chat that had all the Chinese tour guides in New Zealand. Oh yeah. And so, like the Chinese tour companies would be like, we've got a group that wants to go from Queenstown to Christchurch. These are the dates. There's 6 people, and so I just feel like, boom, me. So I just started picking up work like that. Yeah. And then. What, were
you driving them around?
I was driving. I bought a van.
Oh wow.
But then I realised that it was a pretty shitty way to make a living, because your daily rate's fixed. And also you work pretty long hours, right? Because you're with them from in some cases 7 or 8 in the morning through till the time they finished dinner at 9 or 10 p.m.
Were you working through the Chinese tour companies?
Yeah.
Like they were okay.
Yeah. So long days, I mean, good pay, but you're working pretty hard for it. But also very seasonal. So, you know, like everyone comes in our summer. So my mates be at the beach, drinking beers, having barbecues. And I was like driving a minivan around for 14 hours a day. And I was like, I don't know if this is my idea of fun. So I then tried to pivot that into bringing like school groups out. So we went and dealt with, or met with the some of the big camp companies in New Zealand, like Edmund Hillary, and so I tried to spin it into bringing like groups of 20 kids out and doing outdoor education plus school visits. And that, I think I had like 2 or 3 groups come in doing that, and that was more lucrative and probably a lot more work in the back end. But then I was getting guides to come in and actually do the guiding stuff. But again, it was very seasonal. You know, realistically, you probably needed like 10 groups a year to make it work, and I think I had 2 or 3 that first year. And then we went into COVID and the borders closed, and I think it was a blessing in hindsight.
I mean, I think it feels like, don't you just love, I love like the 20s, I feel like naivety is the biggest asset in entrepreneurship, right? You just, when you're naive, you just want to give it a go, right? With us even at Critical, I feel like I'm still pretty naive, but you know, it's like I couldn't find materials. Well, how could it be to just build?
But I think you have to be, right? Because if you know stuff, then you can find every reason why something can't work.
Yes, bro, and you can overthink it, You can analysis paralysis. I've noticed a couple of moments in your story, bro. Like, you know, you went to China, thinking that you had a job, but the internship fell through. You had to pivot, right? And then you worked for another place, and then after a while, you thought that you had another job, but didn't quite work out. You came back to New Zealand. You know, you started this company, and then COVID hit, bro. I mean, you've got pretty tough resilience by now, right? Like, when those moments happened for you as a young person, like, what were you feeling? Like were you, you know, like what were you telling yourself in those moments?
I think I was pretty gutted. Why? So why can't this be easy?
Yes.
That's probably the honest answer. It's like, well, no, damn, not again.
Life sucks.
There's no thinking that this is all for a reason. Shit.
I love your honesty, and it's the same for me too. I'm reading, bro, the book that I'm reading at the moment. I feel like it's just therapy. I'm reading this book called The Obstacle's the Way by Ryan Holiday.
Oh yeah, so, I know Ryan. I've heard of Ryan Holiday. I haven't read that book.
Yeah, he talks about. I think it's like this is not a fair summary of what he's saying, but what I got out of it is that entrepreneur, like the journey of entrepreneurship or the journey of innovation, when anyone is trying to do something new or even just trying to find who you are, you know, as a young person, often the place that's going to cause the most resistance and pain is the journey that you're called to do, to continue to do. And real similarly is that book by I think Stephen Pressfield, The War of Art. And
The War of Art or The Art of War?
It's called The War of Art. Yeah, it's the flip of the War of Art, and the entire book is about the premise of what resistance is. The resistance, like our sense of feeling resistance, is the very thing that stops us from reaching our potential. And he went so far as calling resistance like evil, like the sense of resistance, and the procrastination, the sense of evil. And he goes, I really enjoyed it. Well, I think I first read it in my 20s and I revisited it last year as well. That he talks about like the thing that you feel like, have I got what it takes to be an entrepreneur, or am I just a failure? And he goes, the thing that you feel, if you're thinking that and if you're feeling that, then that is the exact path that you must take to make it work.
That's good.
Yeah, gives me hope. don't feel like I'm a good entrepreneur at all, bro. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm a failure half the time.
Yeah, likewise.
You know, all the stuff that we're trying to make it work. But yeah, it doesn't make it easier too, eh? You know, it does suck, bro. It does suck. And when things don't work out, when a contract, you know, or you're working so hard on a deal and then it falls through, it does suck. Yeah. So,
100%.
I mean, in those moments, bro, who do you go to? Like, in your moments when things don't work out, who are your people, bro? And yeah, how do you pick yourself up from those moments?
I'd say family and friends.
Yeah.
My wife, my parents, and then go and have a beer or a coffee with your mates and talk it through, and then they give you shit and bring you back down there, and then you kind of just carry on. So yeah, probably that, and maybe a bit of YouTube inspo as well.
Yeah, bro. Who do you follow? Do you have any particular people that you follow on YouTube?
Oh, probably too many people.
Too many, yeah.
There's a lot of good creators out there now.
Right. Yeah. In my 20s, I followed Gary Vee.
Yeah.
And then I find what's this guy's name? Alex Hormozi.
Yeah.
He's quite a good
He speaking of content, he puts out a lot of content.
He does. Yeah. I find his stuff really value add and practical, and I found that really helpful. Yeah. Bro, like how did you? So what led you to? So you've done this business. COVID hit, and COVID, destroyed entire tourism industry, right? Like we'll put it on ice for what 2+ years. So how did you go about to finding, founding Mindfull spaces?
Well, I think COVID was probably a blessing in disguise for me because it forced me to stop the tourism thing. But then I guess I've been doing a little bit of contracting for Dad's business at the time because they were looking at setting up an entity in China. So I had been working there for 3 or 4 months, sort of as a contractor. And then COVID hit, and so I ended up spending COVID with my parents, and I guess through that just joined the business because it just became the easy path and the sensible path at the same time. And so did that, 2019, 2020, and then went in originally, and I think in one of the first meetings I went to ask about sustainability, and everyone sort of looked at their feet. I was like, okay, well, there's a job for me. So became the sustainability leader for. That's right. I think I did that for probably 2 years, which I think is how our paths first crossed. And then I guess going through that period, because sustainability for me was quite a. There's a lot of data, there's a lot of audits, a lot of box ticking and checking, and my brain doesn't like that stuff that much. So I ended up finding it a little bit frustrating. And then I guess through that job I was spending a bit of time in schools, and I was talking to educators, and then we just made a decision to get a few educators in the room. So during I think one of the big Auckland lockdowns, we got a few educators from around New Zealand that were obviously not from Auckland down to Hawke's Bay, and we got them in a room for a day, and we just literally didn't really have an agenda. We just asked them, like, what do you guys see in education? And then they just bounced off each other for a whole day, basically.
Amazing.
And we just got pages and pages of notes, and we put them into some key themes. But the thing that kept coming through really loud and clear was that kids have changed a little bit, and obviously COVID played a big part in that. But I think there'd been a shift from before that, and when you keep kids at home and don't let them go to daycare, and they don't go to school, and then they got to wear masks, so they can't, like the language abilities were down, confidence was down, and anxiety was up. And so it felt like there was this big trend, and that educators were struggling with the number of kids that were struggling being at school, and didn't really have a solution apart from just adding teacher aids, which is a solution. But I guess it just got our brains thinking. We thought, well, that seems like a expensive and difficult to scale solution. So what if we looked at the physical space kids were in and thought, and I guess it had happened in the workplace, right? So you on YouTube, you go and watch LinkedIn's office or Airbnb's office, and they've got all these different zones for collaboration, for deep work, for socialising.
Pixar's office, playful spaces that help nurture ideas.
100%. So I guess we're just taking an idea from corporate and saying, how can we apply this into schools? And you and I have been to schools together. You go to some of those like Mount Roscoe or something where there's 90 kids in one space. There's a lot of stimulation, right? So you got kids running around, you've got just a lot of visual noise in there. And so we thought, how could we create safe spaces for kids that get overstimulated really easily? So how can we create either zones so they can see danger?
Because there's almost like a flip side, because there's the trend towards modern learning environments or innovative learning environments where you got multiple classrooms mixed together, and that can actually become a place of distractions as well. Just as
and some kids thrive in them. Like there's I guess in any no environment's perfect, so you're always going to get the kids that thrive and the ones that don't. But I think the modern learning environment's exacerbated it, because all of a sudden you throw 90 or 60 kids into one space, and for the 10, 20, 30, 40% that have anxiety or have autism or ADHD or are introverted, that can be quite a scary space to be in. So we just thought, how can we use acoustics and visual screening to try and create these safe zones within those spaces? So rather than the teachers sending little Johnny to the principal's office to go and de-stim, he can go and do it in a hood in the corner. So that was kind of the thinking behind it. How do we create spaces for the few, which then allows everybody to thrive?
Yeah, bro. Because I know, my wife used to be a teacher, and she often talks about like if in a classroom there's a handful of students where it's tough, the rest of the entire class can be affected by that, Yeah.
Because it's the whole squeaky wheel thing, right? And I had mates at school who spent more time outside the classroom than inside because they were disruptive. And looking back, they just weren't getting enough stimulation, so they were becoming disruptive. So, so if we can give kids like that a way to get stimulation, then the way we frame it is we rather than little Johnny being the squeaky wheel, he can be happy in the classroom, and then the teacher doesn't have to focus on him. The teacher can focus on everybody, and so everybody wins.
Yeah, amazing. That's pretty cool, bro. I love how you founded it as well. Like you began with the customer, you listened to what they were saying, and then understood what the problem, like the patterns of a potential opportunity that has emerged, and from the research understood what the trends are, and then doing something about it, bro. That's really cool. Like it's start by solving a real problem for teachers and young people,
and I mean, we were far from perfect. And I think that's something you learn along the way as well, right? Like as you're going, oh, if I'd started again, I could have cut out a year from this, because I went around in circles with things that didn't matter and didn't focus enough on things that did. But I think that's every, you'd be exactly the same. If
bro, 100%.
And so there's. It felt like we were doing it the right way, but I'd say like if I was doing it again, we'd probably focus a little bit too much on the product and not enough on the
experience,
the schools, because we did some testing, but I think they kind of told us what we wanted to hear a little bit, and then we just took it and didn't test it again.
Yeah, I feel you. Like, and that exact pain is something that I'm presently going through right now. Where I'm like, man, if I could redo last year again, I should have just like doubled down on getting these solid colors out a lot sooner. Double down on getting it fire rated for our products, because they were the two main things that are hindering some volume. But because we were busy and we had orders and stuff last year, I didn't have that clarity or that focus to go, okay, this is really important. We have to do this really well. And so many things, bro. Like if I was to redo how we did our business journey in my 20s, I would have done it. But hindsight's 2020, eh? Yeah.
Hindsight's 2020, right?
What are you most excited about? Looking in the next, I don't know, bro, in the next year, in the next 2 years, like what are you looking forward to, bro? Like what's on the horizon?
I think just trying to last year was such a because we launched 18 months ago, so probably 20 months ago now.
Yeah.
So the first 12, 18 months was very much just like launch, started getting some runs on the board, and then had a really cool period towards the end of last year where we went around a whole lot of schools that had our Mindfull product in their schools for 3, 6, 9 months.
Yep.
And we just got some really cool content of principals explaining the difference it's made in kids' lives, and then we even got some kids talking about it as well. So I guess building on that would be a big thing. And also we're trying to, we have brought on our first reseller partner in Australia, so really trying to just build on that, because the thing I've learned, I've spoken to teachers in Canada, the UK, all over Asia, the US, and the things we're talking about are global problems. They're not a New Zealand or Australian centric problem. And so I think we've potentially got a part solution to a global problem. Yeah, man. And so being cognizant of the fact that you can't, it's very easy to spread yourself too thin and try and be everything to everyone everywhere. I think just trying to get deeper partnerships with both schools and then with our resellers is something that I'm pretty excited about for this year.
That's really cool, bro. I love to learn from like how when you launch a product, how do you define launch, and what are the targets that you set yourself and for the business that that if you do them, that's going to carry you towards momentum and greater success? Like what are some of your key metrics, Matt, that you often think about? And the reason I ask is like I've been doing. I've took on a sales coach, and real clever dude, real crack up dude as well. And we've defined a couple of avenues and stuff. And so one thing is that for critical, I would love to have 3 retail partnerships. I would love to have 5 multi-year contracts with manufacturers or values aligned businesses that has the ability to integrate our products and integrate it at scale in other countries and stuff as well. Now I definitely can't control the results or how those decisions are made, but I can control what I can do on a daily basis in terms of outreach and content and that stuff. But I'd love to talk to you about, as a founder, how do you define that for yourself, so that that by doing it, it's going to help you maximize your chances of being able to get to those goals. How do you think about that, bro? Yeah.
I think for me, I try and spend as much time in market as I can, so actually talking to the educators. So there's a fuzzy line for us between our customers, because we look at the tamariki as the users, but then their principal is the one that's purchasing. So there's we have to delineate between.
Almost have to bridge that gap, eh? Yeah.
And we know the users love the product, but I think there's I think everybody's a little bit risk adverse at the moment. Education's getting banged around in the media a bit. So
no budgets, right?
No budgets, and then we were talking about modern learning environments before. There's now a big shift away from them, because a lot of parents, you get your tiger mums who come in and say little Johnny's not performing well in that environment, and I think it should go back to how I went to school, which is a teacher at the front, 30 chairs and desks and rows. So I guess we're kind of battling a little bit against a shift in trend for education.
Okay.
But to answer your question, I think, the more time I spend outside of the office, the better.
100%.
Because it's very easy to get bogged down in production issues or
because at the end of the day,
supply chain.
I was buying the product. We can have the greatest product or manufacturing, the most efficient system, but if no one's buying it, it doesn't work.
And then because we primarily sell through partners, so I don't do much direct sales myself, but I'm selling through other companies, and so spending time with them, understanding how I can make their life easier.
Interesting.
And like the one we just bought on in Queensland, it's called ABC School Supplies. So literally met him on LinkedIn and started chatting and had a few meetings, and then they just launched, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago.
With your products?
With our products, with the whole range. So I need to make sure that I'm managing those partnerships as well, because it's very easy to think job done.
Yes.
I've got a reseller, cool, leave them to it. Whereas in reality, like, there still needs to be a lot of dialogue going back and forth. What's working, what's not, what can we support with, all that stuff. So it's probably more of the management side of the reseller partnerships now.
Interesting. One thing that I'm trying to figure out is defining, like when you create a new product or a product that's serving a new category of the market, within a category, like, so for example, you're creating products that make teachers' life easier, so that the entire students can have a great learning experience and improve themselves. But when you sell yourself as a new product in a furniture category, how have you gone about to define the value of that support or that experience for the kids and the teachers and the schools? And are they receptive? Like probably the similar example of Critical is, Critical, the Cleanstone is circular. Cleanstone, like, it's made from recycled plastics, it's carbon neutral almost, it's really durable, but sustainability only goes so far, right? A lot of people say it's important, but it's not necessarily the case all the time. And so I'm trying to figure out, how do I define value, or maybe even figure out that value better, so that it's, Cleanstone is not in competition with a product that's like a laminate from overseas, for example. How have you gone about to do that yourself? Yeah, well, what are you learning at the moment?
I think, it's something I spend probably the right amount of time thinking about, but I haven't solved either. But the metrics thing is difficult for us because it's very we can put product in a learning space, and then I guess testimonials is one data point. So we can go and film or get written testimonials saying that product X has changed child Y's life. But I think, to your point, we're still struggling a little bit with, like, what's the best way to what's the best data and story to tell, and what's the best way to tell it, because we can use digital, or we can go and stand at a conference, or we can speak at a conference, or we can turn up and knock on a school door, and but I think, like, we've had to get pretty creative with ways of getting product in schools, so like sponsoring competitions and stuff, to try and get people, or to get people using it, and then go, if we take it away, how the kids are going to feel, and then they say, oh no, don't take it away. So I guess being a new category similar to you, we don't really have competitors in the space, which I thought in my youth would be a great place to be. But now I'm like, actually, it's quite hard because you got to go and
You got to educate the
educate.
market. Yeah.
So, it's a hard thing to do, and I don't think we've nailed it yet.
Yeah. What like despite the challenges and also the successes, right? Like, do you have a set of, like, looking at yourself as a founder personally, do you have a set of like routines, habits, practices that you do on a daily or weekly basis that helps you to, I guess, in entrepreneurship, it's always a marathon as opposed to a sprint. But do you have any particular habits that you build into your own life that helps you last that distance?
From a personal perspective,
It's personal, yeah.
I used to try and create space in my diary to solve problems. Like, it's very easy to just be busy for the sake of being busy.
Yeah, I know.
But then you realise, like, a month has gone past and you realise you haven't actually changed or tried things. And like, I remember listening to a podcast with one of the founders of Netflix, and he was like, we tried stuff, but we'd over-engineer it, so it'd take 6 months for us to try something, and nothing worked. And by the end, we were just trying new stuff every day. It's just, and so I think, like, for me, it's really trying to create space to listen to people who have done it. Trying to create space to think, get out in nature, do all that great stuff. But yeah, really, time to be curious and time to learn would be the key thing for me.
Bro, I'm mindful of time, so I've got 2 more questions I'd love to ask you, bro. Like, what is like, if you were to look back, let's just say, we're all lucky enough to live to our 90s, right? We're in our 90s, and the end of coming to the end of our life, and we're reflecting on it. Reflecting back on your life at that stage, what will be something that would make you feel like you've lived a life well lived?
Good question.
Yeah. As you think back, well, maybe the other way to answer is maybe what is the impact that you would love to have been a part of or made in the world, at the end of your life? How would you define that right now?
I think there's obvious stuff around family and friends, but I don't think that's what you're asking.
Oh, well, I mean, it's up to you how you want to answer that yourself, bro. If it's mindful related, if it's business or work related, or if it's personal related, it's completely up to you. Yeah.
Well, I think you want to be a good husband, good dad, good son, good brother. I think that stuff's all like a must, but then from a work perspective, I think I kind of do want to be an innovator. I think New Zealand really needs
100%.
We've got there's a lot of, we're chatting before we started, there's a lot of global issues at the moment, and like, we need people working on big problems, and there are a lot of problems in society, but I think on my deathbed, if I could say that I've made a small change somewhere, and if it's, hopefully it is mindful, but it'd be through changing kids' lives, through allowing them to be comfortable in learning spaces. So
beautiful, right?
I don't have a number for how many kids it would be, but in a perfect world, it'd be every school, wouldn't it?
Every school in the world, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, bro. That's cool. And
what about you?
Oh, bro, I often ask questions I can't answer myself, it feels like.
I was feeling that was a pretty big question.
I know. I think I value, like, from, I come from a faith or Christian or faith tradition, and like, often I love this reflection by the theologian called Friedrich Buechner, who's a German theologian, and he talks about the purpose of our lives is when our deepest joy the work or the things that brings us the deepest joy meet the world's deepest hunger or the world's deepest need. And so for me, you know, in my 20s, has always been trying to figure this out. Like I realized I really love products, I love design, I love tech, I love entrepreneurship and the hustle of just trying to build something new. And that's always been stuff that I do that stuff and I feel like the time flies by. And the world's deepest need has always been, you know, feeling the sense of, you know, to care for people and to care for people that like need a second chance or that didn't grow up with the same privileges as me. And you know, what can I do through the vehicle of my business that can serve and support people and supporting people means, you know, being a good ancestor so that our grandkids will have a thriving environment to live in. And so I guess that's always been, and that still is quite a big driver, you know, for me. And yeah, like taking risks in a life lived with no regrets has meant that, you know, I can, through the things that I love to do, have lived a life in service of others. So that, yeah, that, you know, that drives me, and specifically, you know, what it will look like. Big ambitions were critical, you know, and we have a limited amount of time before our carbon issue and our waste issue makes irreversible damage in our planet. And so, you know, if I can be a part of scaling a technology and a product solution that can help towards that, I don't even care about the money, bro. You know, like I don't care if I just get to do this and, you know, I get paid enough to live on. Like I'm pretty happy. So I think that's a pretty big driver.
It's far better answer than mine.
Yeah. Oh, bro. and of course, bro. Like none of it will matter if my wife or my kids don't turn out well, and those fundamentals are pretty important. Yeah, bro. Well, bro, it's been really good to have you, bro. I really enjoyed the pace of this conversation, bro. I really enjoyed. I appreciate how vulnerable you've been and how honest you've been. I've really. So I think since we met a couple of years ago, yeah, I've just really enjoyed how authentic you are, you know, and just how honest and how real you are. Like you say it for what it is. You know, you don't impress and you don't try to impress in what you say. It's just you, and I enjoy that, bro. And I really enjoyed this conversation and getting pretty real together. So it's been awesome, bro.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah,
Thanks,
bro. Hope Mindfull just keep crushing it as well. It's such an important mission, bro. You know that. Yeah, love to see it happen for the rest of the world.
Yeah, well, and I think we're both kind of on a parallel journey with different. A different mission, but both very cool ones.
Bro, 100%.
And I think that to me was always, I look at mates and go, that looks like a lot of fun and they make a lot of money, and but it misses the heart,
the soul factor.
The soul factor. And so, I mean, I think having the soul factor kind of completes a circle for me. Yeah, bro. And it doesn't diminish the importance that as a business you have to make money, and it is within our ambition to scale. And you know, what does a $1 billion material company look like? But it's, you know, the money has always been the vehicle to serve that purpose. Like, and yeah, I learned that the hard way. I think in my 20s I went pretty gung ho on soul factor and not of any other factors. Yeah. And it's like, man, I can't drive any impact. Money's important.
Money is important. Yes, it's an important tool.
But it's an output. It's not a.
Yes, it's a means to an end. It's a means to an end. Kia ora, bro. It's so good, Thank you so much for coming on.
Cheers, Ray.
Yeah. Oh, bro.